I'm just coming to Wholesome Canine to visit, to talk to Helen and Christine about the benefits of haqihana harnesses and what they have at their wonderful store.
Paul, welcome to Wholesome Canine. My name is Helen. I'm one of the owners of the store. Christine Ford is my business partner. She's busy helping people over there. We are a dedicated health and wellness store for dogs. We also do carry products for cats, but our main focus is dogs because that is what we know and both have worked with for the last, combined it's nearly 20 years for us. So what we sell at the store, we sell raw food, we sell home cooked food, we sell dehydrated and freeze dried. We also have a ton of different supplements. We have multivitamins, omega-3s, probiotics, joint supplements, anti-inflammatory, allergies, you name it, we have it here. We have a small selection of fun stuff like toys and beds. We sell one type of harness, which is the haqihana harness, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that today. And as well as the physical storefront, we have the scent den, which is an enrichment space at the back of the store, and we also have services. We offer one-on-one behaviour coaching, Christine does nutrition consults, and we all have a bone therapist here on Thursdays. And so that's pretty much it. Come in, have a look around, and see what we got.
Okay, so the main purpose we're here today is to talk about the haqihana harnesses, which I think are wonderful harnesses. Please tell me about your experience, how you got into them, how they were developed.
So I discovered them back in 2014 when I was studying with Tura Gugas to get certified in training and behaviour. And when anyone takes her international dog trainer education, you have to present a special project or do something at the very end. And some of her former students ended up designing the haqihana harness because they weren't happy with the ones that were on the market. As we'll talk about, they're not exactly designed with the movement of the dog, proper movement of the dog in mind. So they worked with people who study biomechanics and movement and gait to come up with the perfect design that would ensure that all the vital areas of their body are left free and clear.
Perfect. That's exactly why I like them. I didn't actually know the full history. Thank you. Let's just talk in general about how a normal harness works, and then we'll talk about the haqihanas.
So I suppose a lot of the most common harnesses now are marketed as no pull because people are looking for harnesses primarily if they have a dog that pulls. And a lot of them, as you know, have the front chest strap that comes straight across
Absolutely.
Here. And it sits right on the pivotal part of the shoulder joint, which means it's impeding the motion, and over time that's going to create terrible problems. It also sits very tight into the armpits, so you'll often see chafing, and if there's chafing there's already pressure on those muscles, which again over time is going to cause problems. And you can tell us what they are.
So when the strap comes across here, a dog who normally moves both its arm and its shoulder blade into extension as it goes forward to walk, a tight harness, particularly a no-pull harness, really limits that motion. And when you limit that motion, you don't get proper muscular activity in the shoulder. Also, you lose the proper paired activity with the opposing rear leg. So you lose the proper stride backwards with the other leg, and then they accentuate the stride forward with the other leg. And that actually leads to a lot of the knee problems, the cruciate problems that are so prevalent in dogs. So a harness can actually lead to knee problems as well, which is something that I would like to see less of in my practice. And it's also that if you're restricting motion, you're not moving the spine properly. Every vertebra should be engaging properly, and if you're running into something, every time you step, you just stop trying to move that part of your body properly. So it will restrict spinal motion as well. So I love the fact that the haqihana doesn't sit over the shoulders, that with the Y-shaped front strap, that it keeps the pressure fully away from the front of the shoulder, and allows unrestricted shoulder blade movement.
And it sits nicely back on the back. It's a good 1 to 2 inches away from the armpits, so you're not getting that pressure on those muscles. And the webbing is so soft. There's no chafing at all with them. They're amazing.
So I have become a real fan.
Good.
So why don't we bring Hector on over here? And,
Hector?
Okay. You sit. Okay. So you can see. That's fine. That there's nothing over the front of the shoulder in here. That you've got almost a bit of a collar that sits in the front, and then a strap around the chest. You can see that it's fairly secure in there. Again, just over here. Hey, buddy. You can see that in no way is the harness restricting shoulder movement, because it's nowhere near the front of the shoulder, which then allows him to move properly.
Thank you, Hector. You're
you.
a most wonderful mom, as you were.
Back to the treats. Because as I was saying, most harnesses, as we were saying, most harnesses sit across here and don't allow even a fraction of that motion. And about once a week I have this discussion with someone who comes in and they think that they have the best harness for their dog, and I look at it and I just shake my head, and you have to tell them, despite the fact you know that you're breaking their heart because they've gone out and spent their hard-earned money buying what they think is a premier brand, and it's been hurting their dog instead of helping their dog.
And especially if they're wearing them from a young age, you're really impacting their growth and proper development over time.
And yet it's not, you still have control of the dog, okay? It isn't going to grab them by the snout and snap their head to the side. It's not just a strap around the neck that, if you yank on it, is going to cause neck problems. It spreads the forces out nicely. It puts it onto the forces to a more stable part of the body. The rib cage and the thoracic spine is far more stable. So I like the concept of harnesses, and particularly the haqihana, because it's the only harness that I've really seen that doesn't impact on that shoulder biomechanics.
Yep, only one we've seen too. That's why we only have one.
Absolutely. So particularly for dogs that do a fair bit of walking, that's their main exercise. I think that they're absolutely wonderful. I think they're absolutely wonderful. So thank you for bringing the product in.
You're very welcome.